Let's read it out of the familiar text. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise thee, and not thine own mouth, a stranger, and not thine own lips. A stone is heavy, and the sand weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than them both. Wrath is cruel, and anger is outrageous. But who is able to stand before envy? Open rebuke is better than secret love. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. But the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. The kisses of an enemy are deceitful. The full soul loatheth an honeycomb, but to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. As a bird that wandereth from her nest, so is a man that wandereth from his place. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart. So doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not. Neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity. For better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. Better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. My son, be wise and make my heart glad, that I may answer him that reproacheth me. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. We've heard that before. Take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Whosoever hideth her, hideth the wind, and the anointment of his right hand, which bewrayeth itself. We'll hear that a little differently. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof. So he that waiteth on his master shall be honored. That's one of those scriptures that raises a lot of questions. As in water, face answereth to face. As in water, face answereth to face, so the heart of man to man. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. Hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of, it says man here, but it's really talking about mankind, are never satisfied. As the finding pot for silver and the furnace for gold, so is a man to his praise. Though thou shouldest bray a fool in a mortar among wheat with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation. The hay appeareth, and the tender grass sheweth itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. The lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. And thou shalt have goats' milk, enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance for thy maidens. Let's hear a little different translation. Don't boast about tomorrow, for you don't know what the day may bring. Let someone else praise you, not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips. Stone is heavy, and sand a dead weight. Stone is heavy, and sand a dead weight. But a fool's provocation outweighs them both. Fury is cruel, and anger overwhelming. But who can stand up to jealousy? Better open rebuke than hidden love. Wounds from a friend are received as well meant. Wounds from a friend are received as well meant. But an enemy's kisses are insincere. An enemy's kisses are insincere. A person who is full loathes a honeycomb, but to the hungry, any bitter thing is sweet. Like a bird that strays from its nest is a man who strays from his home. Perfume and incense make the heart glad. Also, friendship sweet with advice from the heart. Also, friendship sweet with advice from the heart. Don't abandon a friend who is also a friend of your Father. Don't abandon a friend who is also a friend of your Father. Don't enter your brother's house on the day of your calamity. Better a neighbor nearby than a brother far away. My son, become wise and gladden my heart, so that I can answer my critics. The clever see trouble coming and hide. The thoughtless go on and pay the penalty. The thoughtless go on and pay the penalty. The clever see trouble coming and hide. The thoughtless go on and pay the penalty. Seize his clothes because he guaranteed a stranger's loan. Take them as security for that unknown woman. Seize his clothes because he guaranteed a stranger's loan. Take them as security for that unknown woman. Whoever greets his neighbor in a loud voice at dawn might just as well have cursed him. Let me read that again. Whoever greets his neighbor in a loud voice at dawn might just as well have cursed him. That'll make you think. A leak that keeps dripping on a rainy day and the nagging of a wife are the same. Whoever can restrain her can restrain the wind, or keep perfume on his hand from making itself known. Just as iron sharpens iron, a person sharpens the character of his friend. Let me read that again. Just as iron sharpens iron, a person sharpens the character of his friend. That's why sometimes real friends can have a difference of opinion, and sometimes it can get, hopefully not violent, but it can get pretty heated. But what we don't understand is that's iron sharpening iron. That's not a bad thing. But in church settings, we are always taught to pursue peace. And a lot of times, saints, peace, uneasy peace, is not peace. Uneasy peace when something underhanded is going on and nobody's saying anything and everybody wants to act like everything's lovely. That's not peace. Peace because, well, I didn't want to get involved. I didn't want to say anything. Oh, this time you didn't want to get involved. This time you didn't want to say anything. That's not peace. Then the opposite happens. We open our mouth when we should have been quiet. That's still not peace. Because I just felt I just had to say this. What were you in pursuit of? Getting something off your chest? Or were you in pursuit of peace? And what value was added to what you said? Friendship is very, very important. Real friendship, not plastic. Just as iron sharpens iron, a person sharpens the character of his friend. If you spend a lot of time with a person and you can never really tell them the truth, is that really a friend? Even though you like doing a lot of things together, is that really a friend or is that an acquaintance? Do we even know the difference? Friendship, real friendship, is going to be needed in this year. This year. I'm talking to you. I am not prophesying. Real friendship is going to be needed. Not When reality comes calling and you need a friend, that's not the time to find out they were just playing. When trouble's at your door and your life and your lifestyle is about to change, you're going to need assistance from a real friend. You might be able to sleep if a real friend tell you, hey, I'll be there for you. Whoever tends the fig tree will eat its fruit, and he who is attentive to his master will be honored. I have a confession to make. I have a real problem with the second half of that sentence. I'm doing a word study on that because in translating and I know we've all been taught that, this is divinely inspired and, what is it? People used to say all the time, God said it, I believe it, that settles it. And I'm not here to kick against any of that, but I would say get as many translations as you can and do word studies. Scriptures will become even more clear. And in compiling religious information and using the scriptures, you'll find sometimes that the theme and the ideal should kind of run together. And I'm not talking about English literature, sentence structure, and I'm not talking about that from an academic standpoint. There are things written that, when you're really studying, it's almost like it's something saying that it appears that that's out of place. I don't know if any of you have come across something like that, but a lot of people that spend a whole lot more time reading the Bible than I do, I've heard them ask questions about certain things written in the scriptures. Not that they didn't believe it, but where it was placed. And, this thing about slavery. Now, I know that's a real touchy subject for people of color, particularly those of us here in these United States. Mankind has always done that. And words like, when they put master in that context, because they're talking about man to man. They're not talking about master as we would say to the Most High. In that verse that I read, they were talking man to man. And they were saying that because slavery has really always existed. Now, we've been taught it wasn't the same type of slavery that our ancestors went through. If you really study history, you'll be surprised. Mankind has kind of always been a little cruel. And I'm not, please do not misunderstand, I am not in any way trying to change anything about the history here. All I'm saying is the way a lot of things were presented to us in school, in church, in court, it wasn't exactly accurate. And a lot of us have our foundations built on some inaccurate information. A lot of us have made lifelong decisions. And we're still confused. Why isn't this working? And so I'm just saying, get your books out, reread your books, review the things in your library, the things that you recite by heart. Look at every word that you're saying. And in the case of even this, start at the beginning. Start at the beginning. You know, I'm going to move on. You know, most of us in here have been told that we were middle class. Most of us in here, particularly if you got a job and you got a good job, you know, we think, you know, we were told, you're middle class. Like I said before, a lot of stuff we've been told is not exactly accurate. And a lot of us have set our whole situation on what we were told. And now we're all slowly finding out, some faster than others, that that's not exactly accurate. And I'm not trying to stir up anything, but I am saying these are serious times, people. A lot of things that we're used to, and a lot of things that we think that's the way to do it, no, it's not. We are going to need real friends real soon. We all are. Now, I'm not saying we're not going to make it. I'm not saying that. But we're going to have to get real. We're going to have to get real about who we really are, not who we project. Reality is going to visit us all. Just as water reflects the face, so one human heart reflects another. Last week, I had a bummer of a week, you know, and I didn't have any help on my heaviest days, which was Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So, I went on in there because I can't, my customers expect service. I'm in the service industry, so if don't nobody show, I got to go, and I'm gonna go. And of course, I told you all I'm a whiner, so I'm complaining to the Father, and I'm like, look, now I'm trying to do this, and I got that, and this, and man, I'm having a hard time, and it got later and later, and I was getting stuff done, and then I said, I don't want to wait too late. So I called Pastor Hodge. I text Pastor Hodge because I said, well, he might be at work. And I cried over his shoulder. I said, bruh, I'm in here solo. Can you help me? Because I knew I wasn't going to make it, and I know a lot of people got a problem. Why can't he get here on time? I'd like to talk to you in the parking lot, but be that as it may, we'll get to that eventually. But sticking with the theme of the story, when he texted me back, he said, no problem. And I tell you, that touched my heart. Because I'm hot with God. I'm like, wait a minute, hold it now. You done left me down here short-handed. What? Come on now. I'm 65 now. I was 160, now I'm down to probably about 140. Still mean as a rattlesnake. But I was like, hey, what is this? Are you angry with me about something? Can we talk about it? But he could have said, hey, man, I'm at work myself. But it wasn't a few minutes. That thing, boy, it just touched me. Because I'm telling you, folks, church folks, you better get you a real friend. Church folk, y'all might be in the prayer group together. Okay, but are they a real friend? We all members here, most of us are associates here, members and associates. But how many of us are real friends? I'm not asking you to answer that. Just think about that. I've said it, and I mean it, and I wasn't just saying this to have something to say. We're gonna need each other. We're gonna need each other, and even the people that you don't care for, you're gonna need them too. If they're about doing His business. Because that's the only way church folk gonna get anything done. He set it up that way. And again, I'm not making these statements as if I'm on His council. I'm not. I'm just somebody that got the privilege to join the family, and I joined in when I got in. And the same thing for you. Hopefully you got in too and gonna stay in. So I'm not saying this as if I've got some I mean, it stench to me because, see, a lot of good people are gone from foolishness. Listening to the wrong counsel. And yeah, I'm angry about it. But it doesn't have to happen to you. Get yourself a real friend. A real friend. Because you're going to need them. And they're going to need you. Just as water reflects the face, so one human heart reflects another. Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, and human eyes are never satisfied. Fellas, I know a lot of times, sometimes, back in the day, where some of y'all even today, and some of us, I should say, today, we always looking. And sometimes if your significant other catch you, they might pop you. And sometimes they just laugh at you and they say, hey, did you miss that one? She got a nice rear end. Did you miss that? Hey, okay, all right. Let me move on. But all of us been busted. Just about all of us been busted. Unless you real smooth with it. But let me let you in on something. She saw you, she just didn't say nothing about it. She probably just shook her head and said, that boy, he ain't never gonna change. But she know you got sense enough to stay right where you at. And you should stay right where you at. Oh, boy. Yeah, that made me laugh when I saw that part. I said, yeah, man, that's something. And I'll move on after I say this. Fellas, we're not the only ones that look. So I'll move on. The crucible tests silver and the furnace tests gold. But a person is tested by his reaction to praise. Let me read that again. The crucible tests silver, and the furnace tests gold. But a person is tested by his reaction to praise. You can crush a fool in a mortar with a pestle, along with the grain being crushed, yet his foolishness will not leave him. In other words, you can put so much pressure, you can bring so much pressure, so much whatever in their lives, and they still choose to be foolish. In our youth, when our mind was made up about something, we don't care what anybody said. We was going to do it. A lot of us been there. I was talking with a young man just yesterday, and he said that. He said, I got good counsel, but I was just determined I was going to do it my way. And then he said, after numerous times doing it my way, I realized I should have listened. And I told him, I said, hey, man, you and me both. Wise counsel is at a premium. See, right now with the advent of social media, everybody's got an opinion about everything. And all you need is a cell phone with a camera on it, put it on a tripod, and you can go on YouTube and start your own channel. And you can, have any kind of background you want, and you can look like you know what you're talking about. You can even sound like it. But is it good counsel? Or are you setting somebody up? See, a lot of these, listen, and you do what you want with this. A lot of these how-to, if somebody say, I can show you how to make $5,000 in 25 days, move on to the next one. Okay? All of these get-rich-quick things, they're making their money when you do the like and you subscribe. That's how most of them are making their money. Now, I'm not knocking it because the way things are going now, if you can make money on using the internet, do it. As long as it's legal. Do that. I'm not kicking against that. But I'm telling you, a lot of the services and products that they're pushing, and they tell you, if you buy my material, it'll tell you how 95% of them, 95 to 98% of them, it doesn't work. It's a money grab. Now let's bring some of that to the church. Be careful. Be careful who you studying with. Be careful. Hey, now if you're looking at it for just sheer entertainment, because you don't want to watch what's on the worldly TV, okay. But folks, you kind of need to start double checking everybody. And it's not that you think that they're inherently evil or anything. It's just, our lives depend on this. I think about the things that I shared with the congregation at the very onset of all of this mess. And it's like it just went right over people's head. But because I guess I said, I didn't say it in some prophetic voice, church folk don't give that. No. Hey, listen, wise counsel is wise counsel. And I'm not saying that I'm wise. Wise counsel you can get from a child. Your little son or daughter, if they see you every Friday night, Daddy, why every Friday night you drink so much you can't even stand up? And they say, do you really think that's good to do that? That's wise counsel. They're not berating you. Folks, we got to understand our lives are on the line. Listen to this. Take care to know the condition of your flocks and pay attention to your herds. Well, to bring that in 2022, because like I said before, the reason why he's still stuck in Proverbs is because we don't know what to do on a day-to-day basis. If we're being honest. I'm not talking about sitting in here like this. Every last one of you look like you could run the whole world, including myself. But again, being honest, some of us are just having trouble running our own household. And that's not a knock, that's not a dig. I'm just saying, with all the craziness going on, all of us is like, what next? What next? I brought up about middle class. You know, I mean, the millennials, they're upset with us, the older people. Why? Because they listen to us. They went to school, they pushed themselves in high school, and some of them was valedictorian, and then they went to college, and, you know, they got them student loans. And they graduated, and some of them, you know, was top of their class. And some of them had to go back for whatever they went into. You know, you doctor or whatever, you got to go extra years. 4 years ain't going to get it. And then they come out now, and they can't even get a job. And I had a young person say that. I mean, it wasn't my daughter, but she was upset. It was like, I did everything my mother told me. Yes, you did. I think about even my dad, you know, his generation, they still got a pension. And that pension took care of them till they left here. The rest of us, we don't have a pension. You might have a 401k, and you better look at that again. And guys, again, I'm not saying this just to have something to say. You know, please don't just look at me. Do what I ask you to do. Check on your stuff. I'm not saying this for nothing. You know, they keep telling us we're middle class. You know, don't worry about it. Hey, you know, you got a job. Let me tell you something. A person that only makes $30,000 a year, now they're going to have to be married. They're going to need to be married. Say both of them making $30,000 a year. And I picked that number for a reason. And say they own a home. It might be a modest, small home. That's fine. And they're driving, you know, what we would call secondhand cars. We might consider them lower middle class. Then you got a person that's making $150K a year. Large salary. Might own their home. Might not. Because chances are, if they clocking $150, they probably settle in at between $500,000, $750,000 house. Because that's what the bank or the mortgage company told you could qualify for. Because we use your FICO score. And you have 750 to an 800 FICO score. And so all of that's telling you, buy more of a house. Well, I'm here to tell you that's something else that's not quite accurate. You're better off being with that first group that I indicated to you. Now, I know, 150 G's, man, I'm going to be driving a whatever. I'm going to be wearing the name brand this, da-da-da. Yeah, but see, that's a facade. Because, again, the reason why I keep saying what I'm saying, the shaking isn't over. See, most of us have been fooled thinking that we're middle class because we make our bill payments every month. Well, if the firm that you work for go under, about 4 to 6 months, that mortgage company that always, how you doing, Mr. Green? Oh, it's so good to hear from you. About 3 to 4 months, and sooner now, you got to be gone. See, a lot of us are banking on where we work. And I'm not knocking where you work. Please, I hope everybody that want to work can find meaningful work. So I'm not against work, but I am against the misconception that a lot of us have. A lot of us think, I'm in good shape. We're not in as good a shape as we think. Because, see, your situation can change overnight. Well, I've been there for 40 years. Okay, well, just the 41st. We shutting the doors. I'm getting all this literature now. I got a call from a couple of the insurance companies because I had some money coming, and they want to know what I want to do with it. I was like, get it out of your bank and put it in mine. That's not hard. Why are you calling me? Where's the check? but folks, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to inform you. Because, see, this kind of information, not everybody's going to give it to you. Your banker not going to give it to you. And your financial advisor may not give it to you if you got one. And that's another thing. Again, now, I'm not knocking them because they have their place. But again, check your products that you got. Check your products that you got. Make sure it's going to do what he told you or she told you it was going to do. Don't just take people's word for it. Stop doing that, folks. Well, I trust him. Well, don't blind trust nobody but the Most High. Because when people get desperate, listen, and again, I'm not trying to be political with this, but a lot of people feel like, and again, how you feel about him is how you feel about him. I'm not here to change your mind one way or another. But I will say one good thing that Barack Obama did was when he went to the financial industry and he told them, listen, stop selling people what is suitable. And he made them become what is called, they have to be a fiduciary. A fiduciary is somebody that has to sell you a product that's in your best interest, not that pays them the most commission. And see, for years, all they had to sell you was something that was suitable for you. And you didn't even get to tell them what was suitable for you. They determined that. And again, I'm not knocking financial people because they have their place. But I'm talking real stuff to you all today. I mean, you ought to get some benefit for coming to church, high as gas is. See, these are the kind of things we need to be concerned about. Please don't just listen to me. And I'm not saying don't do what I say because I said so. Do what I'm suggesting to you because you need to. That's all. And you don't need to because I say so. You need to because you need to make sure that what you've been doing is real. Because we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah, all this is in Proverbs. I mean, it's a good book. Well, I know I'm in church. The whole book is good. But some parts are better than others. Well, to me, I'm not trying to speak for you, so if I got a lick upside the head coming, it's not on you, it's on me for saying that. Take care to know the condition of your flocks and pay attention to your herds, for wealth doesn't last forever. Neither does a crown through all generations. So again, he's telling you, hey, look, you're not going to always have fat pockets, per se. And because you was born in royalty, it ain't going to last for all generations. So again, we need to look at what we have and what we have accumulated. And a lot of us have gotten to an age now where you can look at what you have accumulated and you look at it and you just say, that's a bunch of stuff. And it doesn't move you the same way it did when you first got it. All of us, well, I've never had a new car, but I've had a new-to-me car. And even a new-to-me car, for about the first week or so, you might even wash it yourself. You don't even want to take it. They might scratch it. You're not even going to take it to the car wash. I'm going to do this myself. And then, the next week you get to drive it around. Oh, man, that's just so nice. Francis, I still want to. That looks so nice. But then after a while, even the compliments, it don't quite do it. If you got a note with it, by about the third note, it don't, Then you start hearing, where that creaking come from? I'm going to turn I still play CDs. I'm going to turn my CD player up. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you still don't value it, particularly when you worked hard to get it. But all of this is tied in verse 23. Take care to know the conditions of your flock. Know the conditions of your financial status. Because what we're going to find out is a lot of us, we really ain't middle class. Now, that's what we've been told. And that's what your bank will tell you. And they make a fuss about it, Especially if I think we're going to move, and we're going to move up to Gat Rocks subdivision. Oh, wise choice, sir. No, not now. Hold what you got. That's free. I'm not charging you anything for that. Hold what you got, folks. And if you can, pay them credit cards down as best you can. I'm not being cute. I'm being real. And I'm trying to be a friend. Now, you might not like my delivery. You may not care for my disposition. But I care about you anyway, to tell you the truth. And I'm not getting a dime for it. I'm not here to hurt your feelings. I'm here because I see trouble coming for a whole lot of us. I didn't say you, I said us. Check on your investments. Check on everything. I've told you before, please don't leave all your money in the bank. Please don't. Please don't. Get a credit union if you can. I'm not going to say which one, but get with a credit union also is what I meant to say. But find somewhere in your home that, don't nobody have to know about it. Nobody. Some time ago I said, hey, get a safe. And I meant that. I wasn't being funny or trying to be, sedity or whatever. Right. I was like, no, get something. And if you're going to get one, make sure it's fireproof. That's right. Because before the dollars turn, and we don't know, it may turn. I don't know. It still has value. Doesn't have as much value, but it still has value. And all of this is in Proverbs. And this was written a long time ago and is still relevant today. That's why I'm sharing it with you today. And then you could go back and listen to all of whoever's, whatever, but they need to be doing the same thing. I'm down to 3 minutes. This thing says, for wealth doesn't last forever, neither does a crown through all generations. When the hay has been mown and the new grass appears, and the mountain greens have been gathered, the lambs will provide your clothing. Now, I tell you, and I'm going to close with this because I'm down to 2 minutes. A lot of people are getting into farming to some degree. I don't have a green thumb, but, we go there. We go to the, I don't. I buy what I can eat. But some of you, I'm sure you only get organic. And then, now I'm sure them got me eating a lot of stuff, plant-based and stuff. But I'm getting used to it, but, But, I got to thinking, and I said, I ain't going to say nothing to them yet. I ain't going to say nothing to them, but I'm going to say this to you all. Can we really trust the labels? It's just something that, I'm just saying, maybe we can. I know the FDA is supposed to be, have our best interests at heart. But so did the financial advisors. So I'm not saying, look, we got to eat something. We got to drink something. But it appears, saints, that the best way to know it is if you grow it yourself almost. Now, and I know everybody can't do that. But, if you got a backyard, you can start something. I don't know. I think cucumbers grow in Virginia. Yeah, okay. But see, y'all know. I got to learn about this. And I don't know. Brenda gave me some cactus. I got some cactus growing in my backyard, but somebody said you can make liquor out of that. Was that Greg that told me that? And some people eat cactus. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. He didn't tell me that. But I think you can actually eat cactus. Now I'm not there yet. But that's the only thing I got. Well, I got some shrubbery and stuff. You can't eat the shrubbery. But I was listening to NPR and they were shipwrecked, and I am Reggie. I'm gonna sit down. And they began to eat some insects, but they had to, because it was either that or not survive. And I'm not saying that it's going to get that dire for us, but folks, with everything going up, my goodness. Yeah, see?
I know you're aware of this stuff. So what I'm saying is business as usual is not going to work. It's not. We got to learn how to adapt with the times. Now, I'm not talking about leave God. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about getting deeper into the word to say, well, I learned what it said, but is this what it really means? Help my understanding, Father. Amen. That's what I'm saying. I mean, in Jerome Powell, I really am going to sit down. Jerome Powell, who I asked y'all some months ago, the head of the Fed, I said he was in some ways more powerful than the President of the United States. Well, we get ready to find out just how powerful real shortly here, because they're going to raise the rates. So if you're in the situation where you're trying to buy a home, it's going to become more expensive to buy a home, and you need a bigger down payment, which is why the millennials, once again, is saying, hey, I got a job. I can't even get enough money for a down payment now, so now I got to stay with mom and dad. And there's no shame in that. Really, this whole thing is forcing. There will be more generational home living. That means you, your spouse, your kids, and grandpa, grandma, or great-grandma, grandpa. It may come to that. Again, I'm not saying that to bring fear. What I'm saying is check your stuff. Check your stuff, because I've said this before. I said some of us might have to be roommates. And that's when you're going to find out who your friends are. Because a lot of us get along well in here, but we something else when we living in somebody else's house. I'm not going to put her on the spot, but we got somebody in here, have had several people living with them. I never asked her how they were, and I'm not going to ask her now, but I bet she saw people in a different light. And saints, it is going to get that serious. I'm going to close. God bless you.